I want to tell you a story of the goodness of God. In fact, this is a true story because it happened to me, and it's actually a story of God's healing power in my life. You see, back in 2008, I started having crazy migraines that got to the point where I had to go to the doctor. And they did a bunch of tests on me, didn't know what was wrong. And I started throwing up from all the pain. I was in bed with an ice pack on my head like every day. Then I'd go back and see the doctor again in the hopes that they'd be able to figure out what was wrong. Well, they determined that there was some swelling in my brain, which is pretty serious, right? And so they're doing spinal taps on me to drain the fluid. Eventually, I start going to see a neuro-ophthalmologist in Winter Haven, Florida, a man by the name of Dr. John Susak. And he confirms, yeah, man, you're really sick. We need to keep seeing you. And at this point, I'm lying in bed every day, all day for 2 months, throwing up every day. I was a mess, guys. I was hurting really bad. I wouldn't wish this pain on my worst enemy. And yet I got to the point where my faith in God was being so tested that I said, Lord, if this is what brings you the most glory, me going through this, then I still believe that you're good. I choose to believe that you're good. By the grace of God, I was able to say that. I said, but I don't believe this is the end. I don't believe this is the end. But I said, I need you. I need you, God, right now in this moment. And I remember because it was 1:30 in the middle of the night. And I remember it when I said, I need you, God. I began to cry out from my belly, like trembling in bed. I began to tremble. I began to speak in a tongue that I've never spoken before or since. And I felt the presence of God fill my room. It was almost like smoke billowing up in my room. And I heard the audible voice of the Lord. I've never heard the audible voice of the Lord any other time than this, but he said this clear as day. He said, I'm taking it out of you. The Bible calls that a rhema word of God. It's the spoken experiential word of God. And when we receive the rhema, we live by it. Jesus said that man doesn't live by bread alone. He's quoting the Old Testament, the book of Deuteronomy, that man doesn't live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Father. And so I responded in this moment. I responded to the Lord verbally. I said, Lord, I believe you. I believe that you're taking it out of me.